As Melody said, welcome to this wonderful occasion. And I believe we're going to go ahead and start this off real quick and start with awarding the Stirrup Award for the best article in Roundup Magazine. Bill Hamps for his article, Western Actors and World War II. Bill, he's on his way. Give Bill a hand.
I'm really honored to receive this award from an organization with so many fine writers. I especially am thankful to Johnny Boggs, wherever he is, Johnny Boggs and his staff, for their excellent editing of the article and their wonderful layout of the article. I don't know how they did it, but somehow they found exactly the right photos to fit the story. I wrote the article not only to recognize some very fine actors who happen to perform in film westerns, but maybe more importantly, to honor those actors for their service to our country overseas during World War II. Again, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
The next award goes to our good pal, Preston Lewis, the Branding Iron Award for Outstanding Service to Western Writers of America. Preston Lewis, come on up.
In 1983, I attended my second WWA convention in Amarillo, Texas, never realizing that 42 years later, I would be back and being honored by an organization that I've come to love over the years. In all honesty, I feel awkward standing here because I feel like I have received from WWA over the years much more than I have ever given. So I am honored that the board thought otherwise. I'm also honored to follow in the footsteps of WWA stalwarts like Bob Yoho, Tom Claggett, Rocky Gibbons, Ollie Reed. Finally, everything that I do would not have been possible without Harriet at my side. And even though she may not have been as visible as me over the years, she has been just as dedicated to this organization. So we both thank you, and God bless Western Writers of America.
Well, we are next going on to the Lariat Award for Exceptional Support of Western Writers of America. Panhandle Plains Museum is winning this award this evening. So who is coming up for Panhandle Plains? I don't have that on my little sheet. Okay, I can put it in my office. Okay, we'll make sure that award is sent, and it's where it needs to be. So my good friend Jim Jones has won the John M. Cleary Homestead Honoree Award this year for outstanding support of literature of the West. Ladies and gentlemen, the Jim Jones.
So Melody called me a couple of months ago and said, I want to tell you some good news. You won the Homestead Award. And I said, oh, that's great. And I'm thinking, now what's that for? And then I thought, okay. So after we hung up, I Googled on the website, and I was looking at it, and 2 years ago, Cowboy Mike Searles won it. And all of us who knew Cowboy Mike can just hear his laughter, right? It would fill up this room. What a wonderful human being. And then last year, my dear friend Ollie Reed won the award. And I'm sure we celebrated with some Irish whiskey. And I thought, wow, that's great company. And then it occurred to me, Shortly after each one of those guys got the award, they died. And so what I would say is, I'll accept this award, but if anything happens to me in the next year or so, I think the board should reconsider. In the meantime, Melody went on about service, and she did dub me as the man who never says no, which made Susan a little bit nervous. Those days are way behind me. But I thought, all the people that come to this, all the people that are members, are the most giving, generous people. My very first WWA in 2008, one of the first people I met was Elmer Kelton. And he was like, oh, hi. And he was just, dang, this guy's a legend. And he just shook my hand like he and I were buddies. And we got to be kind of buddies. And that's the spirit of this organization, and that is what makes me love it and keep coming back. I'll even be in St. Louis next year I'm not sure what part of the West. I guess that was a gateway to the West, so that's okay. But anyway, it's just wonderful to be acknowledged, and I appreciate it. And this is heavy. I'll take it home.
Hey, we're going into the Spur Award winners now. So this is going to be our wonderful category that we just dearly love. So I think that we will begin with Michael John Petty, Best Western Short Fiction, The Devil's Left Hand from Bright Morning Star Press. Michael? Congratulations, Michael.
Thank you so much.
Exit back that way, too.
Good evening. It's quite an honor to be up here among all of you who love the Western as dearly as I do, perhaps more. I'm so honored and blessed, and I want to thank my Lord Jesus Christ for the momentous opportunity. It's by God's grace that I'm here, and of course the insistence of my wife, who is the only reason I ended up submitting in the first place. I had almost talked myself out of it, and her continued endurance and just love and insistence. Thank you, hon. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. So, yeah. I'd also like to thank my folks, my mom and dad, who instilled in me a love of history and share my love of the Western, and you judges and all of you here at the WWA who have made me feel at home. So, thank you very much. God bless.
Congratulations, Michael. So for the next Spur Award, we have Charles G. West, who has been a major part of this organization for a long time. Charles wrote The First Day of Eternity. This is the best Western mass market paperback novel, was published by Pinnacle Kensington. Now, Charles is not here this evening. I understand that someone will be getting the award for him. Is that correct? Is Erica here? Erica's coming up. Good. Erica McIntyre.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, y'all. Mr. West is so humble that I asked him, what do you want me to say when I get up to accept your award? And all he said was pretty much thank you. So thank you. I want to thank you, the Western Writers of America, for the warm welcome you have given me at this, my first convention. And I'm excited to be here to represent Kensington, and it's a great honor. And this is a great group, and I look forward to many, many more of these in the future. Thank you all.
Thank you, Erica. Did we miss Doug? You know, I'm just pushing things too quickly is my problem here. So, are 9 and 8 the same thing? No, okay, we missed one. So, thanks, Jake. Doug Hawking, I missed you here, but you're coming right up. Doug Hawking, Best Western Short Nonfiction, The Mysterious Death of Johnny Ringo. Come on up, Doug. I kept you waiting, Sean.
Oh, gosh. This is the article I swore I'd never write. Half the folks that write about Tombstone are clinically insane. The other half are criminally insane. I've got friends on both sides and don't like to rile them. So now I wait for the death threats. I need to thank my wife and spell check. Debbie reads my stuff to make sure it's intelligible for human beings, and spell check finds new and inventive ways to misrepresent my words. I want to thank David Latterborn and Wild West, a wonderful rag now gone, always been supportive. A word of thanks to the amigos and ladies of the West. Show yourselves. Hey! They have always been great supports. And lastly, I definitely need to thank my mother, gone now these 15 years, who convinced me I had to write because my grandfather was a White House correspondent. My great aunt had nearly brought down J.J. McClure's magazine by having an affair with him, which came to light because he was publishing her bad poetry. Yeah. Great-grandfather and great-great-grandfather both have textbooks still in print. It goes all the way back to the first ones of my mother's family to set foot on this continent, who were banished to the wilderness in hopes they'd have the good graces to die, and instead turned out a grammar of the Native American language. But thank you all.
Thanks, Doug. So I believe that we are on number 10. Is that correct, Jake? We are on Mora. Is that correct? Look at this. I got it right, ladies and gentlemen. This is a great, absolutely great award. This is Spur goes to the best Western historical nonfiction. It's to Mora Jane Fairley for compliments of Hamilton and Sargent, Bison Books, University of Nebraska Press. Come on up, Mora.
So my siblings and I lived in Wyoming when we were small children, but then our parents moved us east. And it has been about 40 years since I last lived in a state that did not have an Atlantic coastline. So it was with no small amount of trepidation that I decided to take on a project that involved Wyoming. I am an Easterner. I am a New Englander, even. And there's one thing that I do know about Westerners, and that it is that you are a little bit like Southerners in some respect, and that is that you don't like it when Yankees touch your stuff, especially when they break it, which is often the case. And so that is what I was worried about. I was worried about breaking things. That is why this honor means so much to me. I know that you are a very discerning crowd of readers. And so I say thank you to you. I also say thank you to my parents, Jean and Cassie Farrelly. They read every word of every version of this book, right up to and including the page proofs. But then it's been a rough few months for me and my siblings. Neither one of them actually lived to hold the book in their hands. And so I say thank you, Mom and Dad. Everything that is good about me and Jean, who is here with me tonight, my brother, my sister Megan, my sister Cassie, we owe it to you. So thank you.
Congratulations, Mara. For the best Western contemporary novel, James Jennings from Wild Blue Indigo, Plum Bay Publishing. James, he's on his way.
Thanks, Bobby. Wait a second. I gave you the wrong one. I got somebody else's award, so I probably deserve that more.
Sorry.
Thanks, Bobby.
Congratulations.
Hey, good evening. I really appreciate your being here. It's a wonderful award to receive, a very, very high honor. I'm very humbled and very grateful to receive it. Standing here tonight on this occasion, a couple of passages from a couple of well-known authors come to mind. First, something from Oakley Hall, who was one of my favorite writers from back in the 1950s, a well-known writer of Westerns. In 1958, he published Warlock, his epigraph to that novel, which he wrote. Some of my favorite words. The pursuit of truth, not facts, is the business of fiction. Let me say that again. It's so important. I just want to repeat it. The pursuit of truth, not facts, is the business of fiction. And then secondly, from a modern writer, Wiley Cash, a fine Southern gentleman, said recently, when I want to know what happened, I read nonfiction. When I want to know how it felt, I read a novel. And so as I accept this award and reflect on all those months and years that went into creating this novel that led to this award, I hope that there's the pursuit of truth that is found in BWI, as I call it, Blue Wild Indigo, has led to the production of some real truth. And I hope that the pursuit of that truth was an opportunity for a real feeling, a real understanding of the way people felt in 1954 as the civil rights movement was beginning to play out in the West. Thank you very much for this honor. I appreciate it.
Thank you, James. My wife, Pat, sends her regards to many of you that she knows, and you know her over the years. She wasn't unable to be here with me this evening, so she's up at our cabin getting it ready for a birthday celebration for our grandson tomorrow. So we're going to have a nice time when we get back. You know, after last year, she was a little upset. I stayed out late with Johnny and WC and went back to the room late and got in, and I walked in and she was standing there, and I went, "What?" And she had her arms folded, and she said, "Drunk again." And I said, "Yeah, me too." The old ones are the best, aren't they? Best Western Contemporary Nonfiction. What a great category. This is from John M. Gliona. No Friday Night Lights, Reservation Football on the Edge of America by Bison Books and University of Nebraska Press. John. Do we have John tonight? I hope John didn't just go. We'll know if he comes back. So we'll make sure that John gets this, and it's a wonderful award, and I'm sure he's going to love it. But that was for Best Western Contemporary Nonfiction. So going on to one that's near and dear to my heart. Yeah. Best Western Song. Now, I must tell you that I won Best Western Song in the second year of its existence, and once again in about the seventh year of its existence, and it was one of the greatest honors of my life. So my good pals, Sarah Pierce and Merle Brigante, coming up to get it, and Randy Palmer, come on up. These three wrote Blessed by the West.
Hey, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. So I brought this jacket with me. I bought this jacket in 1991 in Missoula, Montana. And this jacket has been in more bars than I can count. It's been through more tears than I can count. I can't tell you how many times I hung her in the closet and said, "We're done." So I thought it was fitting that she's here tonight. First, and I know I have to be quick, so I will move along. First, I would, of course, want to thank my wonderful co-writes. These are people that I love, and they gave this song a lot of love, and I'm so appreciative. Also, Jim Jones and Miriam. We love, I can't say his name, I'm really sorry. We love Mustanger. Great song. That was the finalist for this. So, yeah, wonderful, Jim Jones. You guys, thank you for thinking we wrote a good song. I can't tell you what an honor it is. Most of all, thank you for what you do to keep the Western life and the Western realm alive. You have no idea how much it means, and it's so important. I'm a Cowboys kid. Thank you so much for doing that.
Just real quick, I'm not a songwriter. I sit on the other side of the glass. I'm the person that records all this stuff. And I got lucky because I got one line in a beautiful song. So I got one of these. That's very cool. What I wanted to say really quickly is it's the lyrics, it's the words that drive me to do what I do. The words, I believe, the song, if you stay out of your own way, the words are going to tell you where you want to take it as a producer, as an engineer. And so, again, as Sarah said, I thank you all because it's all about the words.
Thank you very much for recognizing this song. And thank you, Sarah, for inviting me to be a part of it. Thank you very much, Mother.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Thank you, my musical family that's here with me tonight. I love you guys.
And we'd like to make note that Randy this evening is wearing pants. So it's a long joke. Let's go through the best Western poem. How amazing is Western poetry? It's just some of the most incredible poetry that you can possibly ever have. And this is a beautiful, beautiful poem called The Couldn'ts by Betty Lynn McCarthy. Here she comes. Betty, beautiful job.
Don't worry, I'm a poet. I'll keep it short. This is amazing, to tell you the truth. I'm totally self-taught. And when I was 10, my dad handed me a pair of Spurs that he got when he was younger and sent me into the round pen to start breaking colts. And this means just as much. So I really thank this organization. And the kids I mentor, I tell them, owning a poet's soul is both a blessing and a curse because you feel so much. So I'm just going to leave before I start crying. Thank you. Thank the judges and this organization.
Good job, Betty. So next, the best Western romance novel, which I read a lot of those. I'm very lonely. It's wonderful. One of the very best in the business has written this. The Wonderful Woman Who Went for Broke by C.K. Krieger. Carol, come on up here.
It's taller than I am. Thank you. I am so honored. I can't even tell you how much. Thank you to the judges who deemed my poor little novel worthy. Thanks to Wolfpack Publishing for publishing it. The Woman Who series has been very good to me, although at times I found just coming up with the titles to be the hardest part of the whole writing. Thank you so much, Western writers.
And this is an award that I think is something that we should really celebrate, making sure that the younger generations are involved in things Western. It's great. So this is the award for the Best Western Children's Picture Book. It's by Laura Beth Dean, and the illustrator is Jeannie Bowman. I'm sorry if it's Jean, but Jeannie? Come on, Jeannie. And I must say, this has the coolest title, Georgia Jip, Blizzard Pilot. I think that's my deal.
Thank you so much. I feel so honored. Sorry, I'm going to cry. I'm just so grateful for the judges, for the opportunity that this organization has provided for me. I'm so grateful for Deidre, my publisher, from the South Dakota Historical Society Press, and for the entire team that made this book so beautiful. So grateful for my husband, Ted, who for 7 years of me as an RN in the basement typing this book, believed in my dream that I could write and was supportive of me. And most of all, to my Heavenly Father, who was the one who directed me to discover Georgia Jip, an unknown hero, and gave me the vision to write her story so that she could finally get her place in history. So thank you so much.
The next generations are involved with what we do, and it's wonderful. This is the award for the Best Western Juvenile Fiction. And this is The Horse Who Carries the Stars from Owl Hollow Press by Darby Karchut. Come on, Darby.
You did it beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the Western Writers of America's judges, the board, and all the volunteers for making this an incredible first conference for me. Hopefully not my last. I'd also like to thank my husband, Wes, and my family for supporting me. And most importantly, I'd like to thank Emma Nelson and her remarkable team at Owl Hollow Press. She believes, as I do, that rural and small town kids and teens need to see themselves in books. So when they grow up, they can be the heroes and heroines of their own stories. And stories are what we are all about. Thank you.
Our good friend Preston Lewis and his wife Harriet Coker Lewis have written Pint-Sized Pioneers, Taming the Frontier, One Chore at a Time, published by Barisso Press, Best Western Juvenile Nonfiction. Preston and Harriet, back up here.
Thank you, Western Writers, for this wonderful honor. I am going to cry. Over 40 years of attending conferences, I've seen many fine writers receive this award, and I'm so proud to be part of them. I want to thank the best co-writer I could ever ask for, my husband. It's his writing skill and craftsmanship that made this book what it is. A fascinating look at the chores that children did on the Westward Trail, and once they reached their destination, to help their families survive and even thrive on the frontier. Thank you to Preston's parents, especially his mother, who took him to the library to make sure that he always had plenty of books to read. And thank you to my parents, especially my mother, who taught me that I could dream big and inspired me to think that one day those dreams might come true. And I want to thank God for the blessings He's given us, even this award, and for teaching us that we have much to learn from those who came before us, even the pint-sized pioneers.
We all stand on the shoulders of those writers and historians who have preceded us. And in the case of pint-sized pioneers, Harriet and I owe a great debt to the wonderful historian Elliot West, who published in 1989 a book called Growing Up with the Country, the seminal work on the adolescent experience on the American frontier. We're honored that he was the inspiration for this, and we are also pleased to call him a friend. We ironically dined at his table last year at the Spur banquet when he received a Spur for Continental Reckoning. So good things happen when you're around Dr. West. I guess the other thing that is important to note is that when I got married more than 53 years ago, I realized I would have my own personal physical therapist for my old age. I did not realize I would have a co-author, a editor, and a publisher as well. So this has been a wonderful experience with her, both in sharing our lives together and in chronicling the American West. Normally, I would end my comments related to with Harriet an acknowledgement to her importance in my life. But tonight, we both want to acknowledge another lady that was very important to us, and that was the late Jeannie Williams. Jeannie Williams was a friend of all of our family, our kids included, and she was, to me, my fiction writing mentor. And she was a writing mentor to many other authors of my generation. She provided encouragement when we needed it. She said we had talent when we doubted it, and she implored us to continue writing because good things would happen, and she was right. So we would like to dedicate this award to the memory of Jeannie Williams, who I think best exemplified the collegial spirit of this organization. Thank you.
The award for Best Western Biography, what an absolutely wonderful award this is, goes to Sandra E. Bonura for The Sugar King of California, The Life of Klaus Spreckels, University of Nebraska Press. So, come up, Sandra.
You did not butcher it. You're so sweet. Hello, everybody. Well, I'm going to do you a big favor and get off here real quick. I was having the worst Saturday possible. 2 months ago? It was a horrible day, and I get this phone call saying, "You've won the Spur Award." And I said, "What? What's the Spur Award?" Anyway, I had no idea. I know I was going to come fetch my award in person, but I had no idea that I was going to say anything. I thought it was like graduation, when you walk across and you get your diploma and you keep walking. So after hearing all these heartfelt, emotional, precious, speeches that you're all giving, I'm going to save you because I've had 2 beers and I've got steak in my teeth. And I had no idea. I'm sitting out there going, I'm going to kill that Bob Yoho. I had no idea I was going to say anything. But I know this is a room full of writers, and if you're like me, and I write biographies, and there's a lot of pressure to get it right, because you have someone's life in your hand. Am I going to be Switzerland? Am I going to be neutral? Am I going to do this subject right? Is the family going to come axe me if I don't? It's just a lot of pressure, and it's a lonely endeavor. Writing's lonely. You guys know that you're sitting at the computer, your back is hurting, you're just like, oh, you want to claw your eyes out. And then you get an award on a crappy day and you've won something. It's like, what? So I'm very appreciative. And those of you who need to submit a book, I highly recommend University of Nebraska Press. I've published 4 books with them. They're a wonderful, wonderful, kind, generous publishing company, so I highly recommend that. And I've also judged books before, and I would like to thank every person in this room who's been a judge for all these categories, because that too is a responsibility. Did you get it right? Are you doing due diligence? And so from my heart, I do thank you very much. So, bye.
Thanks, Sandra. This is a biggie, the best Western traditional novel. I think we all want to write the best Western traditional novel. And this year it's called Dust-Covered Lies from TCU Press by Catherine M. O'Connor. Catherine.
Wow. Goodness, you know, what I realized that not only, this is my first convention, and not only am I with an incredibly talented group, but I'm with a really fun group. And I just think y'all are so awesome. So thank you for making my first trip super cool. So anyway, and I'd also like to thank Dan Williams, who's standing over there. I tried to convince him to come up with me, but he's hanging in the, he's put his head under the tray, from TCU Press for giving me a shot. You know, we all know how hard it is to break through in the world of publishing. And TCU Press has been marvelous, and I'm so grateful. And needless to say, I am a huge Horned Frog fan now, and a Longhorn fan. I know I'm in bad company in here, so we're making those 2 signs. But anyway, the other thing is this is such an incredible honor. When Bob called me about, he about blew me out of my chair, and you know that his voice is unique, and it is entirely West Virginian, right? And he was just so sweet, and I thank you, Bob, for delivering the message in such a lovely way. And thank you to all the judges. Appreciate you so much. And I want to thank all the people who have read my novel. It's one of those experiences that, you know, you put your heart and soul into it, and you really wonder how it's going to go. And it has been a great joy for me to hear from folks who've read the book and get their feedback on how they feel about the characters, because these characters have been running around in my head. They're about a 1/4 inch tall. I have a set in El Paso on this side of my head. I have a set in East Texas on this side of my head. And Franny from Dust-Covered Lies is about right here in Central Texas until she moves up to Amarillo, and then now she's about right here. So they've been running around in my head, and to hear people talk about them as if I'm not even in the room is just, it's so thrilling, it's so satisfying, and I'm proud of I'm really proud of my characters, and I'm proud of the heroines and the heroes, and I'm also proud of the jackasses, you know, because everybody's got to have a jackass, right? So anyway, to the jackasses, the heroes, and the heroines, thank you so much.
Well, this is another special award for me. This is when I joined 26 years ago, I met someone who was going to become one of my very best friends in my life, and it's great to be here. Johnny D. Boggs has won his 900th Spur tonight. So this is for Best Western Historical Novel for Bloody Newton. And that is such a wonderful title that I have renamed my bass player Bloody Newton.
I'm tired. I'm getting up and running around and taking these photos. I'm just too tired. But I heard the most beautiful words about an hour or so ago when I was standing in the reception area, and it was Johnny Boggs, and I turned around and there was Lucia. Because when I read Ride the Wind years and years ago, I thought, and everything else that Lucia's written since then, I thought, if I can ever get that kind of language, that kind of humanity, that kind of beauty in my words, I might have a shot. And I've never come close to reaching what Lucia has done. So this is, and I never will, but I'll keep trying. And this is for Lucia, the love of my literary life. Thank you.
Deb, here is my acceptance. You can say anything you like in addition. Big mistake. All right, so this is what Candy said. I am very appreciative to WWA and the judges for selecting Power of the Mounds, the theater presentation at Angel Mound State Historic Site in Evansville, Indiana, as the documentary script winner this year. A film is always a collaborative project, and so many of you in the room know that. And I also thank the Indiana State Museum and Historic Sites, plus Bob Knoll, Mike Rafferty, and Quackgrass Sally. I am sorry I cannot be there to accept this spur, but I appreciate Deb for stepping in on my behalf. So you all tell her I did a good job. This is the second spur I have accepted for somebody else, and frankly, I am tired of it. And I'm not at all resentful for that lovely lady that won for Best Biography, that gorgeous woman who just stood up here and made that wonderful speech. Congratulations on the Best Biography. Yes, I was a finalist in that category. Thank you very much. And in all honesty, I am honored to be among you. I am very honored to represent Candy tonight. She is actually in Germany, and I'm very honored to represent her tonight. And I am honored to be breathing the same air as so many of you in this room. Thank you.
And now we just had the Best Western Documentary script. Now we need to go to the Best Western Drama script, which is great. The Dead Don't Hurt. Everyone, Viggo Mortensen. Come on up, Viggo.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello. I'm very pleased to be here, seeing how well all the ladies and gentlemen have turned out. I apologize for leaving my hat behind in Idaho. I just thought, well, I didn't feel like carrying it on the plane, but it was a mistake. I can see that now. I'm very happy to be in Amarillo as well. Thankful to the Western Writers of America, to the judges. But I'm also thankful to be here because today I did some driving. I went to the excellent American Quarter Horse Museum, which I recommend. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. And the Amarillo Art Museum. And I also went, I thought, well, I got a couple more hours before, I think I'll go to Paladuro Canyon. So I went down there and that was beautiful. And in the Art Museum, by the way, there's some really, on the top floor, there's some really small paintings made in the 1880s by, I can't remember his name, but is this one artist, this man, of those landscapes near, in that canyon and around here from that time. And it's paired with another artist from now with some of the same landscapes. But those little drawings and paintings are really worth seeing. Anyway, I'm getting off the beaten path. I tend to do that. My good friend and also the godfather of our son Henry, Michael Blake, was given this same award 34 years ago, in 1991, for his excellent original story, Dances with Wolves. And I'm really honored to be in his company now, and in the company of all the winners tonight, as well as the long line of winners throughout the decades. It's The Dead Don't Hurt as a story. I didn't complete it, in solitude at my desk. It was something that kept evolving as we found the locations in Mexico and Canada, but especially as I started to work together with people from all over the place. They helped me finish the story, and without them, I wouldn't be here. The story itself, if you haven't seen it, is mostly it's a love story between two immigrants, one of whom puts his life on the line when, like many other immigrants, he volunteers for the U.S. Army, even though he wasn't born in this country. And so it's not only a story about that, but it's a story that was made by an excellent team of people from all over the place. Yes, there are U.S. citizens, including myself, involved, and some of the other actors, and legendary horse trainer Rex Peterson. But there were a lot of people on our cast and crew from Europe, and especially the vast majority of them came from our closest neighbors, Mexico and Canada. And I think it's really important, especially in the times we're living, which are unnecessarily divisive, I think. It's important to underline and recognize the great value of true collaboration that looks past differences of nationality, race, culture, language. And so I'd like to say to our team, especially to our closest neighbors, merci aux Canadiennes et Canadiens qui m'ont aidé à raconter cette histoire, y muchísimas gracias a las mexicanas y a los mexicanos que han hecho posible esta historia. I dedicate this to them, and once again, I thank the Western Writers of America for recognizing our collaboration. Thank you very much.
This is for the story, A Cowgirl's Conservation Journey, Stories from the Dugout Ranch, from the Nature Conservancy in Utah. This is Heidi Red with Larissa Bowen. Congratulations.
Can you do this, Doodah?
You want that down?
Yeah. Thank you. You know, when a person turns 80, they're not in the saddle from sun up to sun dark, or to dark, then they start thinking about, what am I going to do? And then I remembered all the stories that I have through all my years, over a century, running the Dugout Ranch in southeastern Utah. And as I started, I got quite a long ways along, and then I realized, you know, I could use some help. And Larissa Bowen, she showed up, and boy, did she help. And I really appreciate it. I would like to read, if you'll bear with me, just the last paragraph of my book. While this book is about my memories of running a working cattle ranch in a remote part of the West, it is also a love song to the land I have been married to for more than a half a century. My deepest belief has been that if I stand up for this land and protect its spirit, I will be rewarded with the honor of joining it forever. I will someday be part of these canyon walls, standing eternal watch over the valley below. Thank you, and thank you so much for this honor.
is another award that's very close to my heart. I was presented this award 26 years ago, which is how I got involved with this journey. And it's the Best First Western Novel Award, which once again goes to Dust Covered Lies by Catherine M. O'Connor. Come on up again, Catherine.
I seem to be getting shorter. Yeah, okay. I'll stand up a little bit. Once again, thank you. And the last time I forgot to thank my husband, who is not able to be here. He got a big old bump on his head the night before he was supposed to join me. And so I'm sorry he's not here because would have been meaningful, but that's life, right? And my children, I'm grateful for all of my family. They've been so wonderful to me. So that's really all I have to say. Thank you all so much.
Congratulations again, Catherine. A double tonight. Isn't that something? Yes. Well, we're going to end our awards this evening with a very, very special award that has been around for a while, but it's maybe our most important effort. And this is the 2025 Owen Wister Award, which is going to our friend Craig Johnson. Craig?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, it is heavy. You see me on 287, it means the TSA said no. That's what it means here. Like, I have to set that down just for this reason. I don't have a lot of words to say. Like, I have to admit, I've been on book tour for like 26 days in a row. I'm starting to feel like a Fuller Brush salesman like that. And the last little bit of, communicative ability that I had was kind of used up actually this afternoon whenever I was on the elevator actually with Viggo Mortensen actually like that. And it was kind of a wide-ranging, epic, conversation that we had about this current state of Westerns, movies and books and television. And I'd like to do a dramatic recreation for you of it. It went along the lines of this. What floor are you on? 6. Have a nice day. Viggo, I hope it meant as much to you as it did to me. I just want to share that with you. Yeah, I'm here alone, which is strange because those of you who know me know that my wife Judy travels with me just about everywhere like that. But the center of our universe, our granddaughter, is in Wyoming right now, and so nothing I do could possibly compare with that. And but I have to admit, though, that a lot of the success that I've had in the writing business, like it comes from that partnership that I have with Judy. Like that, she's been pretty spectacular and so helpful in so many ways. One of the ways that she's been helpful to me is that you're all aware that there is the standard comma, the Oxford comma, and then I will introduce to you the Craig Johnson comma, which is, sprinkled liberally throughout the manuscript for artistic artifice, like that. And so Judy's first step, in editing my books is to grab the manuscript by the binder and shake, all the extra commas out of the manuscript, like that. And then the other one is the most frightening words, that you can hear at the ranch whenever Judy's reading one of my books back to me. Is when she's reading back to me and says, "Is there another way to say this?" And what that means is that I have become an extraordinarily lazy writer and use terms like the red-hot gun barrel swung around under the looming mountains. Like that. Well, as we all know, the mountains are always looming and the guns are always red-hot like that. But she's kind of kept me away from all of that like that. And so in all honesty, I have to say that this is gone. What is it, like a loaner? We only get it for like about 5 minutes, and then we have to like give it back or whatever? Or did the TSA come and get it? Which one was it? Like that. So anyway, it's for Judy. You guys, thank you so much.
Thanks, Craig. Well, we almost have another one in the books here, and we want to thank the hotel staff who's done a wonderful job for this week. They've done a great job. Jake Stetler, great job, my friend. Did everything here together. It's fantastic. So, and I want to say a personal thanks and to our good friend Max McCoy and the lovely Kim for all the work that you've put into this organization. Best of luck in the future, my friend. And we'd like Melody Groves to come back up here and say a few words. Thanks, everybody.
I'm not that short. That's a hard act to follow between all of these guys. This is a real bittersweet moment. This is the end of the awards. This is the end of the convention. I am so sad. But I'm so happy that it's the end of the convention. I was telling somebody this afternoon, it obviously was a success because we are all still on our feet and we're all smiling. And I hear laughter and I see smiles, so it obviously worked well. If you have any comments or questions or anything like that, I would like you to write on a piece of paper out at the suggestion box and stick it in there. I do read those and I pay a lot of attention to it. And other than, don't tell me that you don't want meatballs ever again, because that's something we've already done. Just give me some suggestions, and I want to congratulate all of you again. And even if you didn't get one of these amazing plaques, you're all winners. And keep up the good work, spread the word about Westerns, and I will see you next year in St. Louis. Thank you, guys.